Miyamoto Musashi commanded his mind with absolute authority. He could decide to feel no fear, and fear would vanish. He could decide to focus for hours, and distraction would disappear. He could decide to act, and hesitation would dissolve. And before he died, he wrote down the exact training system he used to make his mind completely obedient. He called it Kokoro no Shihai, mastery of the heart-mind. And once you understand how it works, your mind will obey you like a trained warrior obeys a master. Chapter 1. The Awakening, about samurai mental training. Someone quoted Miyamoto Musashi, "The undisciplined mind is like a wild horse. It will throw you, injure you, and never take you where you want to go. The trained mind is like a trained horse. It goes where you direct, stops when you command, and responds instantly to your will." Chapter 2. The Principle of Kokoro no Shihai, mastery of the mind. Miyamoto Musashi was born in 1584. Musashi realized, "You are not your mind. You are the master. Your mind is the servant, and servants must be trained to obey." He wrote, "You must establish yourself as the master and your mind as the tool. When the tool disobeys, you must discipline it. When the tool obeys, you must strengthen it. A craftsman who cannot control his tools produces nothing. A warrior who cannot control his mind dies." Chapter 3. The Principle of Tanrin. Forging through resistance. The sword is forged by being heated to extreme temperature and hammered repeatedly. Each strike makes it stronger. The mind is the same. You must heat it with difficulty and hammer it with discipline. Only through this forging does the mind become obedient. Musashi didn't expect his mind to obey difficult commands immediately. He trained it progressively. Small commands first, building obedience. Then slightly harder commands. Then harder still. Each successful obedience strengthened the master-servant relationship. He would start training sessions with simple commands. Sit still for 5 minutes. When his mind obeyed, he'd increase. Sit still for 10 minutes. When his mind obeyed that, harder still. Sit still for an hour in discomfort. Each successful obedience taught his mind, when the master commands, we obey. Each failed obedience taught his mind, the master can be resisted. So Musashi never gave commands his mind couldn't yet obey. Chapter 4. The Principle of Seigen. Cutting off escape. When the mind sees an escape route, it will take it. When there is no escape, the mind obeys. The master must cut off all paths of retreat before giving the command. Musashi would prepare for duels by eliminating his mind's escape options. He'd announce duels publicly so shame prevented retreat. He'd study his opponent until he knew running was more dangerous than fighting. He'd meditate on death until dying became acceptable, removing fear's power to make him flee. By the time the duel arrived, his mind had no escape routes. Obedience was the only option. Chapter 5. The Principle of Sokushin. Immediate obedience. The warrior's body must respond instantly to his will. Between command and execution, there must be no gap. If the warrior commands strike and his body hesitates, he dies. Train your mind to obey the instant you command, not when it feels ready. Musashi trained immediate obedience ruthlessly. He would give himself commands and count. 1, 2, 3. If his body hadn't moved by 3, he would discipline himself by doing the action 10 times instead of once. His mind learned, immediate obedience is less painful than delayed disobedience. Musashi wrote, "The master swordsman strikes in the same moment he decides to strike. The moment of decision is the moment of action. Amateur warriors think, then act. The delay between thought and action is where death enters." Chapter 6. The Principle of Isshin. One mind, unified. The mind divided against itself cannot be commanded. Part wants to obey, part wants to rebel. This division creates internal war. You must unify your mind before you can master it. Musashi discovered that disobedience often comes from internal division. Part of you wants to wake up early, achievement self. Part of you wants to sleep, comfort self. When these parts are in conflict, whichever is stronger in that moment wins. And you can't control which is stronger. The solution: eliminate the division. Create one unified mind with one clear hierarchy of values. Musashi spent years in meditation establishing his hierarchy: mastery, comfort, life, fear, truth, approval. Once these hierarchies were absolute, his mind had no internal conflict. When comfort said sleep and mastery said train, there was no battle. Mastery was definitionally more important.